Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my Shop My Stash for the first full week in November. So let's just go ahead and get started. This is going to be a short video, but I did want to share with you the products that I picked. So let's start with primers. The first primer that I used was a Too Faced Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer, and it is silicone free, so it doesn't have those pore filling properties that I do usually tend to lean towards in a primer. So I did top it with the Smashbox primer and didn't have any issues with this product balling up or anything with this other primer, so that was wonderful. And I did choose to go with a more hydrating primer because I did use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation, and I am in the shade Porcelain. This is what this bad boy looks like. I believe I did do a first impressions on this foundation here on my channel. I did really enjoy this foundation this week. However, I did notice that even with that hydrating primer, it did sort of catch onto my dry patches that I was having this week, since I did have some active, really strange breakouts happen all at once on my chin. Usually I usually at least have one or so, but this week there was a ton down on my chin, unfortunately. And it wasn't even, that time of the month or anything. Probably a little bit TMI. Like I said, this was catching on dry patches with me this week. So another foundation that I did use when I did need a little bit more coverage that would not catch on those dry patches, I used the Too Faced, the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Water Foundation in the shade Fair Neutral. Love this foundation. It's probably going to be a little bit too dark on me now that we are sort of going in towards the more winter months, fall and winter months. But I really enjoyed both of these foundations this week. Again, just not so much that this clung to my dry patches on my chin this week. Let's see. So primer, foundation, let's do concealer. I actually used two concealers this week. The first one was the Too Faced Born This Way Naturally Radiant Concealer in the shade Very Fair. And then I also used the Urban Decay Naked Skin in the shade Fair Neutral. This also is going to be a little bit too dark for me now that we're going into the more fall and winter months. This one is much, much better for the under eye area, but this I use sort of on my chin and on my forehead and those sorts of places. But this was great for brightening under the eye. But I will say, I don't know if anyone else has had this experience with this primer, foundation, whatever this is, this concealer. It sort of, I don't know if it just interacts weirdly with like my under eye cream that I use or my under eye primer, but this sort of like doesn't blend out all the way, it doesn't blend seamlessly into the edges, like, because I don't put foundation under my eyes. I don't know if that matters, but I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but it doesn't really blend out, like sort of, I usually can see like a line of this concealer under my eye, and again, I don't know if that's because of the under eye primer or the under eye corrector that I used this week, but either way, this was not doing it for me. Let's go with mascara. So the mascara that I was using this week is this Burberry Little Baby Sample. It's the Burberry Cat Lashes. There it is. The Burberry Cat Lashes. This is what this wand looks like. It is plastic and very spiky, if you can see what that looks like. It was all right. It's not my favorite, and even with a micellar water at night, I would still find this on my lashes in the morning, and so I'd have to use the micellar water again in the morning after I wash my face as well on my lashes, just to get those last remnants of makeup off. But then for brows this week, I used the Anastasia. Hi, Loki. He's feeling very anxious right now. I don't know if you can. There he is. Hi, bud. Say hello. All right. Anyway, so for my brows this week, I was using the Anastasia Brow Wiz in the shade Chocolate. I'm not wearing it today. I'm actually wearing the Perfect Brow Pencil in the shade Soft Brown. But this was okay. I feel like this is getting a little bit too warm toned for me now that we're going into the cooler months. And I don't know if it doesn't even look that warm toned on camera, but compared to some of the other ones I have, it is more towards the olive tone of the spectrum. For powder, I didn't do powder yet. I used the Tarte BB Confidence Creamy Powder Foundation to top my both of my foundations with. This is in the shade Fair Neutral as well. It's an okay powder, though I am starting to get hard pan on it. I'm not sure if you'll be able to pick that up on camera. Also, I made a nice dent when I dropped it. The whole thing didn't shatter, which is wonderful, but it did take a little chunk out. But I am getting a little bit of hard pan around the edges. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have experienced that with this powder as well. For highlight, I went back to my all-time favorite highlight. This is the Balm's Mary Luminizer. I am making a nice dent in that as well. and not from dropping it, from actually using it quite often. But I love this. Gives me a nice, healthy, natural sort of glow, but you can definitely build that bad boy up if you want to glow to the gods for whatever reason. For bronzers this week, I used the why do I keep saying Too Faced? The Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and everyone has seen this by now. This is a wonderful bronzer. Smells heavenly, really brings you back to those summer days. And so definitely, this is probably one of my all-time favorite bronzers as well. So it was nice to use that again. Good boy, lay down, bud. And I think last but not least, for eyeshadow this week, I used my Too Faced Chocolate Bar Palette. I still have the little, sorry if you hear stuff on, I'm cooking on the stove. I'm making chicken and dumplings. But I used my Too Faced Chocolate Bar Palette, everyone's original favorite palette. Definitely enjoyed using this week. Marzipan is still my all-time favorite shadow for the lid, but did use a couple other shades in different ways than I had before, which was nice to get more use out of them. So that is, those are the products, buddy, it's okay. Those are the products that I used this week on my face. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below. I'd be happy to answer any of those for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.